Bugger's moving around on me. I've got it right there. I was afraid that Clayton maybe had spilled his wine bottle into the computer system again, and we're having a problem. But anyway, look at this. There it is. Bottled, ready. It's TSX. I've got a bottle right here. Ooh. You know how hot that is? I'll tell you how hot it is. It's the hottest thing that's ever happened in the history of human health, in my opinion, and a lot of other scientists too. And even as important, it is the greatest single product that has ever come in the history of network marketing. It's the chance to build a fortune with this, and we've got it, and we've got it right now. Now, if you look at what's on the screen, you can see there's a picture there of chromosomes, and those yellow golden tips of it are telomeres. And we're going to talk to you tonight about the thing that you have always wanted but never ever been able to find out, and that is how to end aging. But we've talked about that to a degree before. Ending aging is not easy, but it is attainable, and we think we had the combination together to do that, and it's called the Triangle of Life, and it's based on some great discoveries, some great research, and primarily they were done at the one on eternity. The ingredients were studied at Harvard University, and their scientists went around the world and the country, and they were on talk shows, and they're saying, yes, you can live to be 125 to 150 years old now. Well, yeah, the possibility was there if you started young enough with it, if you started when you're 25 or 30, but you know how it is when you're 25 or 30 years old. I don't think your brain's fully developed. Well, actually it is by about 25. That's about when the brain stops growing, but we got to fill it with something at that time because it's full of teenage nonsense and the other things that we've been doing. And so now we have a fully developed brain. We've just got to put some horse sense into it to make it work right, and that takes a while to do. So to start on a product where you could live to be 125 or 130 is just not part of our rationale at that time. So we grow up to that point and we start falling off, and we're okay till in our 30s, and then we start getting 40s. Woo, what's going on? Things are slipping and sliding and starting to fall. What used to be up is down, and everything else is going all around. We're gaining weight. Where'd that wrinkle come from? Is that a gray hair that I see? My energy isn't quite the same as it used to be, and we get a little bit worried. Then we're about in the right mindset to see if we can stop aging, end aging. But we're 15 or 20 years down the road. So when we start on a program like that, then instead of just going down faster, we go sideways and go on for a longer time. At least that's the theory of ending aging. And aging is really an issue that it's not a disease. It's a condition. And the Food and Drug Administration has said that aging is not a disease. And so if it's not a disease, we can really do something about it, and we can make theories and claims and the like, because FDA says nobody dies of old age. You die of some sort of a disease. Now, those diseases might kick in incident to living longer and to aging, and so essentially aging is degenerative decay. Aubrey de Grey, who is the world's leading scientist on longevity, anti-aging, says that aging is about 10% genetics and about 90% environment. So if it is, that means 90% environment. We can do a lot about that. And so we have put those factors into play so that we're able to take that aging and take it sideways, so you can go on and on. But you're down a ways usually before you do that, before you can believe and see. And since aging is a very gradual process, we don't really realize a lot of the effects for years and years and years. But then we get to a certain point and we're quite concerned. You know, you think about aging, and it's mostly accelerated decay. It's just like jumping out of an airplane. You don't go very fast for maybe the first 10 feet, but after that you just keep building up speed and going down faster till whap, you're gone. Well, it's really the same thing with aging. The more you decay, the faster you age, and continuing to decay until you get to the point where you're towards the end of life. And unfortunately for most of us, that's in our mid-70s. And so scientists now, since they've mapped the human genome, they said, well, geez, you're dying halfway through. You have the potential genetically to live to be 150, so why aren't we? Well, it's an education process, and that doesn't go over too good with people that are generally less than 40. But then it starts to sink in because you start building up speed in your aging process. And by the time you're 50 years old, you're aging about 2 days. This is in theory, of course, about 2 days for every day that you live. And when you're 60, about 2.5 days. By the time you're 70, you wake up in the morning, you're 3 days older. And so that and you see that in people in those 10-year spans. You look at them between 20 and 30, not so much. 30 and 40, a little more. 40 and 50, some bigger changes. 50 and 60, woo. And then 70, man, I'll tell you what, you're going down fast. After 70, I tell people put jam in your pockets because you're toast, because you're going to die about 75 years on the average. Now there's some people live on to 80, 85 or that, and a few that live to be over 100. So what's their secret? Well, National Geographic took a look at the people that lived the longest on Earth, and they said 3 classes of people. People that ate a seaweed had fucoidan in it. Well, we got fucoidan in our product, fucoidan. And the other group was the Seventh-day Adventists, because they had good, clean health habits. Well, we've got good, clean health habits. We know what's bad in our environment, and we know what to avoid. And then we've got some supplements like Spectramax that can provide a lot of that sustenance that we need to protect ourselves against environmental attack and food, which is now so nutritionally deficient. There's only 25% of the essential trace minerals and essential nutrients that we need that used to be in food, so it's 75% gone. But we can supplement that. We know what it is, and we can put that together, and that's in Spectramax. And the other thing is the enormous regenerative power that grew us from conception to becoming an adult is regulated by what's called sirtuin genes, and you can feed those systems with special nutrients that helps support sirtuin activities, so that you can have increases in energy and vitality, and supports regeneration on a scale like once was there, but perhaps maybe not forgotten, but long gone anyway. And so you have that model going together. So it's a lot of really important things here that we have in our company, unlike any other in the world. And so as National Geographic said, people from Sardinia had great genetics. Okay, and they lived in a clean environment, and they raised their own food. And so with all of that, those people were living maybe 85 or 90 years old because of some of those factors, but far from the potential of 150. Now scientists, and I saw a TV show this morning where they're talking about new discoveries in science and theory, and they're saying, well, babies that are being born right now should be able to live to be 150 with all the new scientific discoveries that are going to happen. Well, going to happen, quite frankly, folks, they've happened, and there's one of them right there, TSX, and Eternity, and Spectramax, and fucoidan. I think we've got the tools together, not just to end aging, but now, and what we're going to talk about tonight, is to reverse aging. And as you live longer, instead of aging faster, we're going to reverse aging, and instead of growing older, you're going to grow younger. How's that for a theory? And I say theory because this science is so new, and as you look at TSX, it's intensive DNA level support for telomere health. Now let's talk about that, because that is really the major missing link. You see, telomeres are tips on the ends of the chromosomes, and what happens is you have a chromosome that's there, and when you're born, or actually in conception, when the sperm and the egg unite, these little gold tips that you're looking at right there have about 15,000 units. And from conception to birth, they just grow like crazy. That single cell just grows and grows at a tremendous rate, because you have to develop all of the structures, organs, features, everything from fingernails to heart to brain to nervous system to bones and fingers and toes and everywhere in between, and even some hair. And so when you're born, you've used up about 1/3 of those telomere units that